Hey everybody, I am Erica with Bricks Real Estate. Thank you for joining me today. I want to talk to you about something really, important to me because I do meet a lot of people through Zillow and Realtor.com and other real estate websites before we connect, and it's an awesome way to connect with so many people. So if you're watching this and you've met me through this, or you will meet me through that, those different programs, absolutely no offense. In fact, I'm glad you're here because there are 5 things that actually Zillow does a lot of research on real estate, as you can imagine. And there were 5 things that I want to share with you first that people end up regretting. And I think that this tool that I have for you, the Smart Home Buyer book, which you can download for free off my website. And I'm just kind of giving you little bits of this. I mean, this is a 10-minute read because there's lots of pictures and whatnot, but it really, like, if you take those 10 minutes, 5 minutes and look through this, you're probably going to learn something. So just slowing down a little bit and sharing some of that information from the book with you today. Let's first start with those 5 things, and then we'll talk about a couple of other details before we log off here. So the first one is that people didn't feel that they started the process early enough. There's just like, I think you spend a lot of time thinking about it, and then you eventually like go to one of those websites, click something, and you start looking at houses. Lots of times people tell me they're not quite ready, but they wanted to look anyway. It's just really probably like not the best use of your time, the agent's time. And, with all due respect, these sellers are typically cleaning the house, getting their dogs, their babies, and leaving for you. So if you're not really ready yet, I wouldn't suggest just like running out and looking at houses. So the second thing is that a lot of people will say is that they wish they would have bought a house sooner. Rent is always 100%. So I know a lot of people are concerned about mortgage rates right now, or interest rates, excuse me. But, we know rent is going up, and we know that, your landlord is benefiting from you paying the mortgage. So just something to keep in mind as you're, going back and forth between renting and buying. The third one is a lot of people wish they would have bought a different home. So that's really sad. I just made a video on making like a priority list for yourself, and I just can't recommend enough that you don't skip that step. So instead of looking at houses, instead of talking to a loan officer, a real estate agent, any of those things, work on your priority list. And in the book, there's a helpful guide to help you with that and much more information. The fourth thing is people wish they would have picked a different location. Again, it's kind of making me sad that people are like just generally feeling like they settled for something. So it just, again, is indicative of rushing and not thinking things through. And then the fifth one is using different or more online searching and researching tools. So I think it's that you realize after you bought a house that there were those things out there, and then you didn't use them. And so that heartbreak comes in there. So the last thing I want to talk about, other than just talking about oh, that's a bummer. So, how do we avoid this, right? So I've already given you some tips of doing things in the right order, but to keep it really simple, what we say is there's a surgical approach and there's a shotgun approach. So what do I mean by shotgun? Let's start with that, because that is what most people do. And again, if this is you, I'm not trying to offend anybody, but this is somebody who probably looks at about 30 houses in person, maybe even more, and still doesn't like anything they're seeing. And so that is definitely a red flag for you that we're not approaching this process in a way that makes sense. Those are oftentimes people who just give up. They're just like, oh, there's nothing out there. I don't want to do this right now. And that could be months of looking and then coming to that conclusion that I'm just not going to make a move. This doesn't exist. And so it goes back to those tools. Let's use the tools correctly and get you set up for success. The second thing the shotgun approach will give you is sometimes a feeling of mad pressure. You aren't confident about the decision. And I hear this a lot from people who've purchased houses and then want to go out and look at houses again. They're oftentimes telling me, I do not want to feel that way again. I need to do this in the right order. And that might mean we have this conversation for years. I'm completely ready for that. And I think that's fine. I think you if you're going to change houses and change directions, you need to make the right decisions. And the third one that might make you feel like you've done this sort of rushed is that you found a house, but then again, you don't feel like the people that worked around you had your best interests in mind. That could include your lender, your real estate agent, or maybe you feel like you could have gotten it, but at a better price or better terms. And so then these are all examples of like, maybe not doing this in the best way. So of course, I'm going to suggest for you to do this the surgical way. This is going to take longer. This isn't going to hopefully end up like with these feelings that we're talking about or regrets. And you should end up with a house you're confident in. And again, we're never looking for a forever home. There's no forever car. There's no forever house. There's the one we live in for the moment in time that we're in. This home works for you. It fits within your budget, your preferred location, the right house, and you worked with an experienced agent and lender to help you like go forward in a successful way. And so hopefully by the time you're closing on that house, it's not regret. I mean, there's nothing that feels worse than like having any sort of inkling from somebody that they aren't really actually happy with their decision that they made. So I hope that you find that information helpful. I hope that you will comment or reach out to me privately if you have any questions about real estate. And there's so much more to the book. This is just the beginning part that's getting you started. So I encourage you to download it. I will never know you're downloading it. You just go to iHeartMPLS, short for Minneapolis, homes.com. And you can pick or download that copy. There's a seller version too. Again, I'll have no idea, so I will not be following up with you to see how things are going unless you want me to. That is just a free resource to help you be successful. Thank you. Bye-bye.